Hey everybody, welcome to the Identity is She's first ever podcast. I'm so excited to start this podcast because I've been wanting to talk to my community for so long about self-love, about what's going on in the world, just to have some positive resources available to you that maybe help you or can help you just during this time where we desperately need a little bit more love in the world, as cheesy as that may sound. I'm a super positive person. I'm also a certified behavioral health specialist. So to be able to have a platform where I can at least talk to, if it's just one person, about loving yourself, feeling okay, knowing that your feelings are valid. There is so much going on. A lot of us are grieving. A lot of us are dealing with isolation, depression. And I just wanted to create something that could hopefully spread some cheer and spread some love in this, to be frank, very fucked up world that we're living in, guys. It's 2020, and a tweet that I saw is, as a Black man in America, having a gun is a form of self-care.
And what I've been telling y'all is that even though this country treats Black people like secondhand citizens, the Second Amendment, that Constitution that the current president constantly wipes his ass with, well, that document has a Second Amendment, and that Second Amendment gives you the right to keep and bear arms if you are not a legal gun owner. If you do not have a gun purchasing permit to go get one, if you do not have a firearms license to carry a concealed weapon or to possess on your premises, then I have to say to you, it's possible you don't love yourself. Okay, I have gotten on this goddamn radio over the past few months and told y'all that when you are Black in America, a minority in America, owning a legal firearm is a form of self-care.
As a behavioral health specialist, I'm like, well, is that a form of self-care? It's a form of self-preservation. It's a form of self-protection. But is that the form of self-care? What do you guys think? I would have never thought in the year of 2020 that would be something to question, is whether we need guns to protect ourselves. Yet just last week, my neighbor came over and was already talking about buying her second gun. And she was like, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. I feel like we all need to protect ourselves because that's where we're coming. Like, that's what's going on in our world. But I also feel that now more than ever, you and yourself better be on the same team, friend, because there's so much going on outside of us that we need to make sure we're okay internally. That's why I wanted to start a podcast, is to talk about what is going on inside, internal, and to have a resource for all of us to be able to speak. So I actually have a quiz. You can go to it by going to theidentityofshe.com/mental health quiz. That is where you will find a quiz that is all about assessing your feelings. How are you doing today? I know for some of us, we don't have a resource. We don't have people to talk to. We may not feel strong enough or ready enough in what we're going through to be able to talk to people. So I put a quiz together just so you could have something to assess your feelings and to look back to. On episode 3 of the podcast, what I'm going to do is take the responses from the quiz and come up with a really nice graph for you all to share what others may be going through, just so that you know that you're not alone. The thing about this podcast is it's going to be very interactive. I do a lot of different PDFs, mental health resources. I also have a giveaway for you guys today, which is a depression guide. And I will tell you more a little bit about that later on in the episode. But I want you all to know that if nobody else around you cares about what you're going through, I care. Because the first rule of behavioral health is that we don't give up on people. We keep fighting for people. We keep fighting for one another. We keep fighting for equality. That is all I know to do. we keep praying, and we keep striving. So I go back to that question. Is owning a gun a form of self-care? Some people like shooting. It's therapeutic for them. But is self-preservation actually self-care? Psychology Today states that self-care is paying attention to you in a way that ensures that you are cared for. So when I think about self-preservation, I think about that. But I also think your happiness is important, because for so many of us, we're unhappy. And I know that from the quiz. I know that because the first question on the quiz is, are you happy in life? And for many of us, the answer is no, because life can be so fucked up. And that's just the truth. That's the reality of where we're at. A lot of us are grieving. So many people we've lost due to COVID or other diseases out there, cancer, many things that we're still grieving, police brutality. I think for a lot of us that are working our jobs and in corporate and things like that, it's, do you feel protected in a sense that your job is protected? Because that's your livelihood. You need basic things to feel that you're cared for. But I'm telling you now more than ever, if there's anything to let go of, it's self-hatred. If there's anything to let go of, it's stop talking down to yourself. Let that shit go, because that's not doing you any favors right now. You better start checking in with yourself and assessing whether you're happy. And if you're not happy, what are the most toxic things that you can easily let go of? Because I want to start there. For me, any environment where I feel unwanted, I'm going to leave. And I feel like I deserve that. And I feel you deserve that. We're going to talk about toxic people. We're going to have guests and really assess how to deal with toxicity in your life. And it might be things that you might not be able to just easily let go of, but how do you find a way to let go of that? For those of us that can't afford therapy, what are your resources? What are your outlets? Who do you go to for support? Are you being loved the way that you should be loved? Are you being loved the way you want to be loved? The quiz talks about many different layers of just your identity. It also assesses how, like, certain reactions to what's going on, certain behaviors, beliefs that you might have. Like, do you always think that things are never going to work in your favor? Or are you one of those people that always believes things should work in your favor? There's so many different things across the board that could be a part of your identity and a part of your thought process that could be damaging. The biggest thing I see, and I'm a victim of it too, is just talking down to yourself, talking bad about yourself. Why? Why are we doing that right now? There's no reason to. And every day should be a goal. Like, I'm going to speak to myself nicely. I'm going to speak to myself like my best friend. I'm not going to talk down to myself. I'm going to build myself up, especially my body, how it comes to my physical appearance, my identity. I'm going to tell myself I am beautiful and I am worthy of love. I am worthy of a beautiful and prosperous life. I'm going to give that to myself. When we're talking about self-care, what can you give yourself? But first, what are you grateful for, friend? What is it that you're hoping for? I think if anything, COVID has taught us that we have another chance at really thinking about what can make us happy. I encourage you to really think about that. I encourage you to take the quiz. And also, if anybody is struggling with depression, I have something for you that is just for you. So I put together a How to Fight Depression self-help guide. I'm going to read a stat for you guys. It says depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide. So this is something that is affecting us all. It's a major contributor to the overall global burden of disease. This is real shit that we're going through. So if you are struggling with depression, I encourage you to take the mental health check-in quiz. Give yourself that freedom to just have that assessment with yourself, and send the Identity of She a DM, and we will give this to you. It has signs of depression, just little things that may help you. There's little puzzles, quizzes in there, and a self-reflection Q&A that I really want you to have. When I started thinking of this podcast, I started thinking of different things and resources that I just didn't see. And I didn't see anything that had free mental health resources that you could easily just download and find. And so if anybody knows of other resources, definitely let me know. But I believe in being the change that you want to see in this world. So I went ahead and just developed these different things, and I'm willing to give them to people because if it can help one person, it's worth it to me. The Identity of She has been my saving grace. It's been my love and my joy and my passion, something I have started as an idea and have grown. The apparel has helped people. I've had people that have cried wearing the t-shirts, and it just reminds me that self-love is important. It's not cheesy. It's not like we can all use another just reminder to check in with yourself, to prove to yourself that you deserve to be here, because we've lost way too many people due to suicide and suicidal ideation. Understanding the difference, because depression can allow you to just completely neglect yourself and completely neglect your body. Addiction is another thing that we're going to talk about, because when you're depressed, you can start finding yourself to like reach out to different substances and thinking that this substance is actually helping cope your addiction actually helping to cope your depression. So there's so many different things that I want to personally talk about and interview people of. But the good thing about this podcast is it's interactive. So there's going to be other quizzes and other resources available for you to take advantage of. So if anybody would like a How to Fight Depression self-help guide, just DM the Identity of She. My last question for you to think about is, how are you? How are you doing? What does self-care look like for you? Are you taking care of yourself? Are there pieces of yourself that you're neglecting? What is it that you feel you personally need help with? These are things I really want you to think about, because this podcast is for you. There's a few resources that I want to share. The first one is the mental health check-in quiz. I just want to reiterate that you can go to that quiz by going to theidentityofshe.com, then click mental health check-in quiz. It's free. And I really would love every single person to take that quiz. If you're listening, just give yourself though that 5 to 10 minutes to just fill out that quiz. Ask yourself these questions. It may lead to other things that you may be thinking about. Another resource is this How to Fight Depression self-help guide that I've created. And if you know anybody that may need this guide, please DM the Identity of She on Instagram. So these are a couple of free resources for you all to take advantage of. I'm going to send this to as many people as I can because you deserve it, friend. So before I wrap up, I want to shout out just all of the social media. So the Identity of She on Instagram, that's where you'll see. That's where you can connect with us. You can send us a DM. You can also email theidentityofshe@gmail.com for order updates, as well as just different information. If you'd like to see anything specific on the podcast, we're going to get into so many big details, many bigger topics that we're going to discuss. And I'm really excited about that, y'all. You can also check us out at Facebook, The Identity of She. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. You will hear many, many more to come, and please take care of yourself.